Okay guys, so thus far I can confirm that Sandy Creek is in fact sandy. How you going guys? Welcome back to Walk It Off. I'm Nathan and today we're checking out the Sandy Creek Conservation Park and the Wren Trail. I really hope you enjoy this one. Now let's go check out the map. Okay guys, so the Sandy Creek Conservation Park is located just outside of Lyndoch, which is about an hour and 20 minutes drive northeast of the Adelaide CBD. The trailhead does have a couple of car parks, but the area is really loose, deep sand, so smaller cars should be careful when parking there. The trail surface for the most part is a soft river-like sand, and it does have some dune-like hill areas which were quite difficult on my knee. So yeah, just be careful of that, and there is a few minimal obstacles that you might have to maneuver around. The trail today is going to be 5.25 kilometers long. It's a round trip, so we're going to end up back at the car. It's fairly flat in its elevation, starting out at 200 meters above sea level, going up to 247. Its inclination maxes out at 13.3%, and its average is 3.8. Now, as usual guys, I've made up a Google Maps link in the description below if you'd like to check this one out for yourself. Which I really hope you guys do. I hope to see you out there. Now let's get hiking, guys. So yeah, it's going to be just another short one today. About 4 Ks, or 4 and a bit Ks. There are 2 trails that you find out here. One is the Boundary Walk, which, as you can imagine, goes around the outside of it. And then there is also the Wren Walk, which is the one we're checking out today. Pretty sparse and dry thus far, and the trail is soft and sandy. So I'm not really sure if many people are noticing, but I'm trying to put a lot more intentionality into my shots, like, you know, thinking about the artistic composition and things like that. I'm finding, so like I'll walk about 1 kilometre and then sit down and just have a look around at where I am, take some nice macro shots because I've got this little macro lens for my phone. It's really cool, so I'm going to start throwing some of those shots in. At the moment, ants seem to be a really good subject for it because it's really quite hard to hold this lens steady, as you can imagine, with a 10 times macro zoom. If any of you have read any Jocko Willink, specifically Extreme Ownership, you'll be aware of his mantra of discipline equals freedom, and I think that's very true. Because if you want something in life, you have to set your sights on it and go get it. And if you can't do that, quit bitching. And that's kind of the methodology, in part anyway, behind my YouTube channel. I didn't learn video editing because I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel in order to hold myself accountable to learning video. Thus far, I think it's a great success. Be quite a flat conservation park. It's very pretty though. It would be nice out here after it rains, I think. I saw some kangaroos on the way in here into the conservation park, but I haven't seen any. Since I've been in here. Do you take seriously the concept of intentionality? It's been kind of in the back of my mind since reading Essentialism by Greg McKeown, which is another really good book that you should check out. Works very well with the concept of minimalism as well. Essentially, it's maximizing the good parts of your life, or the good parts you want to take seriously, or trying to maximize the opportunities for good things to happen in your life. And it sounds like a concept that you'd be like, oh well, duh, but it works. And it's another quote from a book I've read, Recovery by Russell Brand, where he talks about how he beat his drug addictions. And something that in that one that really resonated with me is part where he talks about everybody's either operating on a conscious or an unconscious system. I think that is kind of at the heart of intentionality. So yeah, in the comments, guys, is intentionality a concept that you've thought much about? If you have, I want to hear about it. Another really good book that's on this topic, a little bit tangentially, but in the same ballpark. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. The mix of intentionality and what James Clear refers to as habit stacking, you can achieve a lot, very small spaces of time. Yeah, I think in years like the one we've just had, should at least be putting a little bit of thought into things like that. The combination of hiking and photography is it's a very meditative thing, because you're constantly being mindful of where you are, what you're doing, what's in front of you. Is there anything interesting to shoot? What's the best angle? What's the best lighting? And it really puts you in the present moment. Thinking about depth of field and trying to isolate the subject of what you're shooting and things like that. It definitely makes you look at things a lot more. Another thing that crosses over into the topic of intentionality, it's the idea of focus and focus hacking. So it's kind of like intervals under which the brain seems to be able to keep focus, and pushing it past that is kind of the productivity wanes after that, so it's best to take a break at that scientifically derived point. Seems to be at about 3 hours. So 3 hours, 3-hour blocks with 15-minute breaks and a big 90-minute break. I think the book I'm talking about, pretty sure it's called Focus or something like that. But it talks about stretches of high concentration. So I'm kind of crossing that with the idea. I've read about this on the interwebs about how walking for at least 90 minutes, an hour and a half, is kind of about the peak. That's where you hit the peak benefits. So even on days when I'm doing stuff like heavy design work or video editing or something like that, I still try and incorporate a 90-minute walk even on those days. Wren walk now, finishing this little bit of the Honeyeater Link Trail. So yeah, if you're looking for a hiking trail that is reasonably flat, quite easy to do, no major obstacles that you got to climb over or anything, check out the Wren Walk at Sandy Creek Conservation Park, just outside of Gawler, or should I say, it's near Lyndoch, which is outside of Gawler. Yeah, quite easy on the legs. Only about an hour's drive north of the Adelaide CBD too, which is always a plus. It's scrub, but none of it's too dense, and most of it is on like large fire trails. Like much of the north of Adelaide, it is very flat out here. So if hills are your thing, go something like Lofty or Boobook. Yeah, it might be too little of a challenge out here for if that's more your thing. Sorry, I just had to double and triple check the map. It always sucks when you look down at the map and you find out you've been walking for 15 minutes in the wrong direction. Oh, again, we're in stinging nettle country here, guys, so I hope you brought appropriate footwear. Yes, these trees with these very interesting pine cones on them. I think they come from these like yellow bottle brush flowers.
So this part of the trail's getting a bit thicker, a lot denser. It's still the sandy, coarse river beat. How cool was that? I nearly stepped on him. That would have ruined my day. Probably walked past like dozens of those things. Good old stumpy tails. I get their cousins. Good old Australian blue tongue lizard. Right next to my garage. Nice part of the park. Tranquil. So a lot of the walking trails around Adelaide you'll see, especially around Black Hill, Moriarty, you'll see lots of little tiny lizards, nothing that big, little gecko type things. They're very cute. I imagine I've walked past more than a few brown snakes as well through here. And we are back at C3. Alrighty guys, I'm afraid that it's that time again and it's all over for this week. As always, this has been Walk It Off. I'm Nathan. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Go outside. Get better. Be awesome. Catch you next time guys.